Hello everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Let's Talk Stamps. In my previous video, I shared a little bit about my personal stamp journey, why I think this is a perfect time to start a stamp collection right now, as well as some of the amazing benefits the hobby has to offer. If you haven't seen this video, don't worry, I'll provide a link to it in the description so you can catch up. If you are a beginner and ready to dive right into this awesome hobby, stay tuned for the entire video while I share 6 essential tips to start a stamp collection. The very first tip is money. Money. Now this may sound like a no-brainer, but you will want to make sure that you have a little spare money to start your hobby. Obviously, you need money to buy stamps, but you will also need some spare change to buy a few items to store and organize your collection. The amount of money that you will need to buy stamps depends on a lot of factors, ranging from the quality of stamps to the type of stamps you wish to collect, rare and valuable versus more topical and common, as well as the actual place where you buy stamps, online versus brick and mortar stamp stores. Generally speaking, there are 2 broad categories of stamps that you will see when you are looking to buy, and they are mint and used. Within the mint category, the highest quality is mint never hinged stamps, often abbreviated as MNH. Mint never hinged stamps are unused and contain original gum, that is, if the stamp issued originally contained gum, and has not previously been hinged. These type of stamps will usually be more expensive to buy given their superior quality. Here's an example of a mint never hinged stamp for you to see, and if you can look closely you can tell that this stamp has never been marked or hinged for use. This is a mint never hinged postage stamp. You may have also heard the term hinged when describing stamps. Hinged refers to the small paper coated with gum used on a stamp to mount, normally in a stamp book for display. Mint hinged stamps, abbreviated as MH, are mint stamps that have been mounted. Here is an example for you to see of a mint stamp that has a light hinge. I hope you can see on the back side of the stamp, it has been lightly hinged to mount in a display book. This is a mint hinge stamp. There are also used stamps, and that means just what it sounds like, a stamp that has already been used to pay for postage. Used stamps will feature part of a cancel or postmark indicating that it has been used. Used stamps should be less expensive than mint stamps and offer beginners a great way, especially if you are on a budget, to get started. Here is an example for you to see of a used stamp where you can see hopefully the markings at the top to indicate that it has already been used for postage. This is an example of a used stamp. So, if you are just starting out, how much money you need to budget for your new hobby will depend on the type of stamps you choose to collect. The second tip is that you will need somewhere to store your stamps. There are several ways to do this. One way is for you to store your stamps in a stock book. This is called a Lighthouse hardcover stamp album stock book, and this has 64 black pages. It cost about $45 US on Amazon, and I absolutely love this stamp album. I use this to store my Jordanian stamps. This is really nice, and this is one example of how you can store your stamps. I also bought, as another example, a smaller black stamp album stock book, which you can see here. This is 32 pages, and I bought this on Amazon for about 20 US dollars. So this is an example of what a smaller stamp stock book looks like. Another great way, both of these have nice protective covers to help keep your stamps safe when you're organizing, handling, and displaying them. So this is something that you might want to look into as you begin. Another way for you to store your stamps is in an album stamp sheet binder, something like this. Just turn the pages so you can see. This was about $10, I think, on Amazon, and it included 10 sheets, which stores 20 pages worth of stamps. They have nice protective covers to help keep your stamps safe, and this is just another way for you to store and organize your stamps in a safe way. Another way to store your stamps is to mount your collection with hinges. We briefly talked earlier in this video about hinge stamps, and because this is something I do not personally do, I will include in the description other videos to learn about mounting stamps. The third tip is you will want to buy a pair of tweezers. It is generally not recommended that you touch stamps directly with your hands because you don't want to damage them. This is an example of a pair of tweezers that I bought on Amazon. This is 4.7 inches and it cost about $5 US. I try and use tweezers when handling all of my stamps, regardless of their condition. This is a nice tool to use as you develop and begin your stamp hobby, so that way it lowers the risk of damaging your stamps. So if you are interested in a pair of tweezers, I am more than happy to list this particular pair that I bought on Amazon in the description. The fourth tip is, as you start buying stamps and have a place to store and organize them, you will want to have a stamp catalog. A stamp catalog is part of philatelic literature and very useful if you are interested in identifying information about the stamp, including its official description, the year it was issued, catalog number listing, and value. Unfortunately, brand new stamp catalogs can be expensive, over 100 US dollars sometimes, but there are used stamp catalogs if you are on a budget that is more affordable. For instance, I bought a Stanley Gibbons catalog on the Middle East, used on eBay for 15 US dollars. And this is really nice. You can see here, this is a Stanley Gibbons stamp catalog, part 19 of the Middle East, 7th edition. This was published in 2009. And this catalog is great if you happen to collect Middle East stamps like I do. They list stamps from the Middle East region, and just as an example, what you can see on a typical page is you have these beautiful images of the stamps that are issued each year, and it describes the official description of the stamp, which you can see here, the year in which it was issued and the date, which is nice. It also provides the selling cost of the stamp if it's unused and if it's used. Now that selling figure that they list coincides with the year in which the catalog was issued. So if this was issued in 2009, obviously some of these figures are going to be not up to date. They're probably going to be not so accurate, but this is nonetheless still a very useful tool in your philatelic toolkit. As you start collecting stamps, you're interested in learning more about the background and the history of the stamp. You get the nice description, you get the date, you get the listing price, and you get the listing number, the catalog number. So this is just a really nice thing to have if you can afford to do so. But like I said, it is possible to find stamp catalogs if you are on a budget used. You don't necessarily have to buy new stamp catalogs because they are expensive. The fifth tip as you begin to grow your collection is you might want to consider buying a magnifying glass. A magnifying glass is another great addition for philatelists to help see as much detail as possible. On stamps, you might want to look and better be able to see any words, numbers, symbols, or other images that are very important, and a magnifying glass really does the trick. I bought this particular magnifying glass on Amazon. This is a Bassoon 10x magnifier. The lens is close to 2 3/4 inch in diameter. I think this is a nice product to use. I like it a lot, and if you are interested, I can include this link in the description. Now, the sixth and final tip as you begin your stamp collection is time and patience. Collecting stamps and getting into philately is a journey. It is a wonderful and satisfying hobby. You need to devote time to learning about the hobby and have time to collect, grow, and organize your stamps. You also need patience, and with that comes an understanding that the point of stamp collecting is not to try and rush and accomplish everything immediately. While a relaxing and rewarding hobby, it takes dedication and focus. If you have an impatient personality, it may not be the best hobby to pursue. That concludes my list, and I hope you found it useful. Let me know in the comments section what you think, and if I missed an important tip, please let me know. And be sure to hit the subscribe button for more stamp video content like this. Until next time, happy stamping!